Thank you, Deputy Dean Rothbard. Before I say a word to the graduates, I want to address the families. Your husbands, your wives, your children, the people who held things together while someone they loved disappeared into classrooms and case studies on the weekends, who ate some dinners alone, who stepped up without a degree to show for it, so that someone else could have one. You don't get a diploma today, but none of this happens without you because everything starts with family. So let's take a moment to just give a round of applause to the families here. "50 years ago, someone made a bet. The bet was this, that the people already changing the world deserved a chance to understand it more deeply, that experience and education weren't trade-offs, they were a multiplier, that wisdom earned in boardrooms and budget meetings combined with rigorous intellectual challenge could produce something rare, something the world actually needs. 50 classes later, you are a proof that that bet was right. I know what it took to get here, not in abstract, but exactly. I'm a Wharton MBA graduate, this was MBA 32. I know the early mornings, the late nights, the moments midway through when you wonder, why are you doing this while running teams, raising a family, and writing papers at the same time? And here's your answer. And I want to give it to you in 3 words. Not because business loves frameworks, but because these are the things that have gotten you here and that will be most critical for you moving forward. So the 3 words are curiosity, humility, and courage. Let's start with curiosity. We are living through the most profound technological disruption in a century. And the great irony in this, the more powerful the machines become, the more desperately the world needs human curiosity. Not the kind of curiosity that consumes information, the kind that asks better questions, that notices what a model cannot see, that looks at an empty site and imagines what isn't there yet. An architect doesn't optimize an existing building. An architect looks at a blank space and sees a future that no one else can see yet. And that takes responsibility for making it real. The leaders who will matter the most in the next decade are not the ones who will be the best at using AI. They are the ones who will be the most curious about what AI cannot answer, who ask the questions behind the questions, who genuinely stay fascinated by the world long after the world has told them they should have already figured it out. You are not observers of this moment, you are its architects. And that stays with staying curious. Second, humility. The hardest thing I know about experienced leadership is that success is a dangerous neighborhood. Not because success makes you complacent, most of you are too driven for that, but because success gives you an identity, and defending a past self is a full-time job. It doesn't leave much room for a future one. Consider this, Roger Federer, one of the best professionals of our time, in 1,500 professional matches, won 80% of them, but he only won 54% of individual points he played. So the greatest player of his generation nearly lost half of every point he ever played and still won every match. The margin between excellence and failure is not perfection. It's the willingness to lose a point, let it go completely, and fully commit to the next one. That is humility, not smallness, not self-doubt, the radical willingness to be a beginner again, to be wrong, to not know, to change your mind in public when it matters. The world is going to keep changing faster than any of us are comfortable with. The shelf life of a skill any skill is shrinking. And in that world, the leaders who thrive will not be the ones best at defending what they built. They will be the ones most willing to become something new. Reinvention is not a crisis, it's a practice. And you just spent 2 years proving you can do that, questioning assumptions you've held for decades, changing your minds in public, figuring it out by doing. This is humility in action. Keep practicing it. And finally, courage. Here's what I believe, and I want to say it plainly. The greatest unsolved problems in the world are not waiting for more technology. They are not waiting for more capital. They are waiting for leaders with the courage to go after them. Climate, trust in institutions, geopolitical conflicts, health systems under strain, the fracturing of shared reality. These are not engineering problems. They are human problems, coordination problems, vision problems, and above all, courage problems. Courage for a leader is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to be accountable, to say what you actually believe when the room would prefer silence, to take a long view when every incentive in the system is pointing at the quarter. I want to give you one question to take with you. What would I build if I wasn't trying to protect what I've already built? The honest answer to that question is almost always where the most important work is. And the reason most leaders never ask it is because the answer is expensive. It requires letting go. It requires courage. You have something rare, the trust of organizations already at scale. That trust is an asset. The question is whether you spend it maintaining the status quo or whether you use it to pull the future forward. The world doesn't need more optimized versions of existing things. It needs people with credibility, the experience, and the courage to build what doesn't exist yet. Lastly, I want to finish by saying something I don't usually say in stages like this. I am still figuring it out. 25 years across 3 companies, 7 countries, and more than a few hard calls, and I still have mornings where I wonder if I'm the right person in the room that I'm walking into. I still fail. Not the polished kind of failure you'd put in a case study. I've had moments in my career that were genuinely hard. Not hard in the way that looks good in retrospect, but hard in a way that tests whether you believe what you say you believe. Moments where the gap between who I appeared to be and how I felt inside was very wide. And what I have learned and continue to learn slowly, imperfectly, is that the gap doesn't close with more achievements. It closes through honesty, with yourself first, then with the people around you. So, curiosity, humility, courage. I put these words in front of you today, not as someone who has mastered them. I put them in front of you as someone who is genuinely, daily, trying to live by them, and failing sometimes, and getting up. That is it, guys. That's what all of us, or any of us, are trying to do. What this program gave me, and what I believe has given you, is not certainty. It is the capacity to go and keep going without it. To act when you don't have all the answers. To lead people through uncertainty without pretending that uncertainty isn't there. You are not leaving here finished. You are leaving here ready. And as someone who has walked this path as your fellow alum, not your speaker, I am genuinely proud of you. Not for the degree, but who you showed up as to get it, and for who you leave here as to take on what's next. 50 years from now, someone will stand on a stage like this and talk about leaders who were the architects of this century. They will speak of people who stayed curious long after the world told them they should have all the answers. who had the humility to keep becoming someone new, who had the courage to build something that didn't exist yet. I believe people from this class will be in that conversation. Curiosity, humility, courage. You've been living these for 2 years. Don't stop now. The world is waiting. Now go build it. Congratulations, class of 2026.